when I had a crisis in my life. And I asked Sami, Sami, I have to do something and I don't know exactly how to start and what to do. And he asked me just one question. Haya, what is your passion? And of course I said cooking. And this was the sentence that he told me, then do it. Do it.
So, welcome back. Mario, first question to you before we come to our guest. Hummus or baba ganoush? What do you prefer?
I think baba ganoush, because with hummus, sometimes I have the feeling when you sit together with people, especially from the area, and discuss hummus, sometimes I feel like conflict start over hummus. Where is the best one, in which country, in which restaurant? So I personally normally stay safe and go for baba ganoush, Florian.
So follow-up question. Where is the best hummus available?
Will not answer that.
Okay.
Florian. I will not start another conflict.
Okay, so maybe today's guest can help us answering that question. We are so happy to have her on our podcast today. A very special woman, and I know that many of our listeners already looking forward to this episode. One of our biggest fans, Gretel Weiss, for example, is looking forward to it. Chris Hoffman from 25 Hours will be on the show next time. And today, and this is a pleasure and honor for us, we have Haya Molcho, the founder of NENI, with us. Good morning, Haya.
Good morning. I'm very happy to be with you. And the first question was the best. What is the best? Hummus.
We come to that later. But first of all, I would like to introduce your company and your business a little bit further. You founded NENI 15 years ago. It's a family business. You run it with your 3 sons, 3 out of 4. You have 12 locations operating in 7 countries in a franchise cooperation also with the 25 Hours hotels. You do... as I know, 25 million sales. Your products are in retail stores across Europe in 6 countries, producing 12 tons a day. So that's substantial. And a very important recognition of your work in the past was the award of the Hamburg Foodservice Price this year. So congrats afterwards again to this. And now, Haya, we dive deep into your story and if you have doubts in how you actually gain drive. Your family motto is life is beautiful. What do you mean with that?
What I mean with it, it's of course there is phase in life that you don't say life is so beautiful in the moment it's not so beautiful. But if you are thinking positive and you have family, you have friends, and you are going through the life, looking at things, hearing, listening, then life can be very beautiful. Of course, it's not just beautiful all the time, that's what I told you before, but if you have these contents in your life, it's much easier than to feel, I'm always suffering, We are not a suffering family. We are doing things, and if we are suffering, we are changing. That's why sometimes life is beautiful.
So let's go to the flip side of that. Do you remember a moment in life when it was not so beautiful?
Many times, life was not beautiful when I wanted to have children and I was young and I couldn't get pregnant. 7 years, this was not so beautiful. I was suffering that I couldn't get children, but my character to live the life, to be with Sami all over the world, to enjoy. This doesn't have to do if you are sad and something it's not good. That's not life is beautiful. But I didn't suffer every day, but it was a hard time for me. But to be with Sami 7 years, all over the countries, to see all the kitchens in India, in China. This was really beautiful. But sometimes in some moments, I was really upset and it was not so beautiful.
Can you tell us, maybe you have a trick or what you do to come back if you are in such a mood, if you are in such a situation? What do you do then to make you feel better?
To think about things that you are not happy. Or I was thinking, okay, I'm not getting children. A doctor told me I will never be a mother. Then, of course, you are thinking, okay, get it, live with this and change something. So we thought about those time to adopt something, not to go inside the problem, to try to go out the problem. This is what is my motto. Also, if you are upset, sometimes if I'm really upset, I'm speaking about what I'm feeling. I have my family, I have my friends. Don't take it with you. Speak, communicate it with people. They can help you. You are not alone in this world. And this helped me a lot. I'm speaking, I'm communicated. I have a partner, I have friends. I'm speaking about bad times and good times. This helps me. I don't do it alone.
And now you have four sons. Sorry. Now you have four sons and that business. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's one of the best things that can happen. It can be fantastic. Life is beautiful to work with three fantastic men. They are not boys anymore. Or it could be also terrible if it doesn't work. But the way that we started to be a family business, I think it was the right way, because each one of us has his own project in this company. We are not doing all the same, and we are respecting each one. That's why it's fantastic to work with three of my sons. One is in LA, he's doing film and he don't want to make NENI, but the three others, we have a fantastic relationship, because the same thing, we are talking if something happened, we are not taking it with us, we are talking about problems. And this is the most important, communication.
I think that the follow-up question, Haya, is fitting in now, because we had a lot of strong entrepreneurs here who took the company from the follow generation or pass it on to the next generation. There was always this discussion with these strong entrepreneurs about the priorities of the family, because if you run a family business, every discussion on every meal could be infected with the company problems. And then it's always the question, what's first, family first or company first? And we had, as a second guest here, a very controversial character, Michael Dura from Develai. And he said, like in the face, he said, family second, company always first, which is quite brutal if you think about that. But also he was quite honest. And he also said, I hope that my sons are not running the company in that way when I pass it on, but I don't know otherwise. So for you, as your very strong family values, and you talk about that in the podcast and in your book, that you cook together, etc., how you see that in terms of priority, and how you keep your family space safe and not let the business problems take over, Haya?
So for me, it's the opposite. For sure, family first, second, the career and what we are doing. This is no question for us. But what we are doing, because the problem is, if you are working with your family, you are talking also in private time about the business. We have two other people who are not in the business. Sami, he's an artist. And my other son, he's also an artist. So we decided to do twice a year 2 weeks of vacation with the family, with also the girls, the women, all together. We have been now in India, and we decided in this vacation, we are not talking about business. This is family time. Exactly when I'm doing brunch at home, we are not talking about NENI. My family is much more important, and special for Ilan, for Sami and Nadiv. They are not in the company. They are so important. We have so much respect that in this time we are speaking about art. We are going to museum. We are speaking about films. We are doing everything for Sami and Nadiv. I think you cannot ignore the rest of the family. And as for me, the worst is just to be business. I'm a human being. I'm emotion. I'm a mother. I'm still a mother. And when I'm a mother, I don't want to speak about business. I want to be loved like a mother. When I'm doing the business with my sons, they are partners. So we are doing really big difference about family and business.
So you're creating your safe space. I want to travel back to the early beginnings, because I remember still the time when you started in Vienna with the catering business, and then the Naschmarkt, because also for a couple of months or a year, we were in the same office building in the Theobaldgasse. And I want to travel back to this time and discuss the topic Schwellenangst, which you obviously understand the word, but for the listeners who don't speak German, it's the fear of threshold and borders. And especially when you start a business where you basically have no knowledge and you jump into the cold water, so to say, It's quite usual to have that Schwellenangst. Can you take us back on these early beginnings and how you started the career and how fear or this fear of threshold and borders played a role in that decision?
The fear was much before I started. I was thinking, I was mother of 4 children. I was 7 years with Sami all around the world. And I didn't work in those times till Nadiv, the youngest one, was 12, bar mitzvah. So I was at home. So the fear was, what shall I do not to be a too much mother, not to let them go away from home? So I knew exactly when Nadiv will grow up. Sorry for my English, it's not so perfect, but I'm trying to speak in English. Perfect. So I knew that Nadiv will be 12, I will do something for me. And it was the question, and I was driving with Sami to South France to friends, and I had a crisis in my life. And I asked Sami, Sami, I have to do something, and I don't know exactly how to start and what to do. And he asked me just one question. Haya, what is your passion? And of course I said cooking. And this was the sentence that he told me, then do it. Do it. And it was the same time that one of my best friends, she knows that I'm cooking. I was doing a lot with cooking before when I didn't work for money. And she asked me to do the catering for her birthday for 200 people. And of course, she told me, if you don't take money for this, she knew that I will never take money for my best friend. If you don't take money from this, I will take another caterer, the Onko or Moto or somewhere else. And when I heard this, I spoke with Sami again and said, oh, Sami, how can I take from my best friend money? And he told me, if you don't take the money, you will never appreciate what you are doing. And you are doing a great job. I knew that I'm good, but I never trust to take money for this. And if you don't take money for something, you will never appreciate exactly. And then I took a lot of money, but it was the best catering ever. And from those time, people knew, if you want something different, something crazy, take Haya. She's a fantastic caterer. And this was the beginning of starting to make catering. And then we started, I found NENI like a restaurant. But this was the beginning. And what I wanted to say, you don't think, if you have a passion, you don't think rational. That's why you are going in the cold water. Passion is not thinking too much. It's doing. And I was doing. And this was the beginning. And this is my character. I'm not thinking too much before, because the passion is much bigger than the thoughts. And that's why I will always do. Yeah. And this is something that I will tell everybody. If you are thinking too much, you are afraid, and then you are afraid to do something. Everybody will tell you, wow, you are 45 to start with 45 catering. Are you crazy? You can stay with some in Caribbean. You don't have to do it. But I wanted to do it. And that's why we had the success, I think.
Absolutely. You can feel that. Haya, I heard an interview or read an interview where you said you are in need of adrenaline. You do bungee jumping and parachute. Are you are you a person who takes a lot of risk?
Yes. If not, I will never do a restaurant without so much knowledge that you said before. Also, my son, they studied completely different studying. But I think that without risk, you are getting afraidness, and it's the same, Also, if you are afraid, but the risk, I was always doing, to risk in everything. I'm bunging, I have sponging, I'm flying from airplane. This is my character. This is my education, I think. To come from Israel, to go to north of Germany, not knowing what's going on. I grew up like this. I had always herausfordern. How do you say it in English? Challenge in my life, From beginning when I was born in Israel. Israel was like nothing before. My parents built a country. Then we went from Israel to Germany because of my father. All these things are, you have to be flexible. You have to do things, and you don't have to stay in the problem. Wow, I'm so sad I have to do all these things. No, this is the fact. What I'm doing with this fact. And the same thing, I want to do a restaurant, I swing in the cold water, and it was the right decision.
That's so good to hear. This podcast, Haya, is also about doubts and struggles and how you regain drive. Can you share a big roadblock you had in your entrepreneurial life in the past 15 years?
Of course, a lot, but one of these, it was when we started with NENI am Naschmarkt, on the oldest market, and that was our baby, the first one. Very, very quick after, they asked a big company asked us to open NENI in Zweiten on the second street. And my feelings those time was it is too early to do it. But the mistake was that we didn't hear exactly what we felt, like the stomach and the heart.
Gut.
And they asked us many, many times. And then we say yes. And it was a mistake because it doesn't fit to our concept. It was in Jean Nouvel. It's a very, very known architect with steel works. They just designed very perfect. And then came balagan, NENI, chaos. And it was too dark for us. And this was a mistake because we didn't hear exactly what we thought it's yes or not. And from those times, we learned never say yes if you don't feel 100% that it fit to you. We learned from the mistake, and it was okay. It was very good that we had this experience because in the last years, 99% we say no, 1% we say yes. To know where you fit, this is the most important. Don't do something that you don't fit in. And this was the process, and it was okay. It was okay. From one day to the other day, we decided we are going out. And this was the best decision. What I want to say, if something going wrong, don't stay. If you are married, you are not happy, don't stay with this person. You are living one life. Think about it. Is it the right person? Is it the right project? And this was not the right project for us. And we decided to go. And in the moment that we decided, 1 week later, we sold it in a very, very good concept, another concept that fit exactly there. And we are friends. So, and another thing, what I want to say, if something goes wrong, don't think that you are wrong. It can happen. But because of this, I'm not eine schlechte Wirtschaftsfrau. How do you say? I'm not a bad, wie sagt man,
business person.
Yeah, because I'm Haya. I'm doing so many good things. Nobody can tell me if I'm doing something wrong, then I'm not good enough, This is the most problem. The education of our children. Before, you have to do, and then you are good. Good is not just to be good. Yeah, good is it yourself.
And Haya, now in the scaling up, because you became this brand, this icon in Vienna, and then you started growing international. Chris Hoffman, 25 Hours. You started working very early. You grew to Hamburg, to Berlin. Then you opened in Amsterdam, where I currently live, and I'm a regular in your business there. How was this? What was the biggest challenge on this rollout? Because one thing is to open in the comfort zone of Vienna, and the other thing is going international, going with partners, trusting partners, in scaling up a business. Because this is also like a podcast from entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, and some of them are out there and maybe considering going international and doing partnerships and doing franchising. What would you like to share on the watch outs of that journey to grow?
First of all, we say also Christoph Hoffmann, in the first 4 years, we said no, because we knew after the thing that we made too quick, we knew we are not prepared now to promise something for a franchise with people that you really like. I like all the CEOs of 25 Hours. They came every day to eat in Naschmarkt, and they knew they wanted a storytelling. They knew this family, they are gastronomic and we are hoteliers, and it fits together. So 2 things I want to say. You have to see who is your partner. Who is your partner? Fits he in your philosophy, in the life? Is there the right person that you want to work the next 20, 30 years with them? It's like a marriage, like a small marriage, yeah? And that's why we said in the first 4 years no, because we liked them too much to promise something that we couldn't do. After 4 years, Christoph Hoffmann came to us and said, Haya, Nuriel, Elidor, and Ilan, now you have a ticket. Tomorrow you are coming to Berlin. I want to show you a project and then say yes or no. And we flew, one day after, we came to Berlin. We went up, we see everything, we spoke with them. And after 4 years, we said, now we can do it. And this was the beginning with 25 hours. What I wanted to say, the partner is very important, and you have to know, can you do it or can't you do it in the moment? Mm-hmm. If it's not the right moment, wait, it will come. And the same was with Spar, the same was now with Migros and Albertine. We knew exactly, now we have a new production, we built our production, now we can open in Europe, first in Europe. And this is what we have done.
And Haya, now this going out of this hospitality into retail, I always found that's a very difficult move, because in the brand and yourself thrive a lot on the hospitality and the people. And obviously you're not every day in your restaurants, and neither are your sons, but it's your culture, it's your vibe, and you hire the people. And a lot of the charm of your brand is the people and the vibe and the craziness and the balagan. Obviously you have great food, but once you put the food alone in a fridge, so to say, in Spar and Migros and then at home, were you never worried about like leaving that product, that hummus alone in that fridge without emotions around? Were you not afraid to kind of risk this brand, which you built highly emotional, without emotion in, let's say, in the fridge, because that's the contrast basically? How do you see that?
It's a very good question. That's why we have Nuriel, the biggest son. He's doing the marketing, social media, filming, photos. What we are doing when we are doing a product for Spar or for Migros, for everybody, we are doing filming. Haya is cooking the hummus. How I'm doing when I'm buying in the supermarket the hummus, we are doing short films. I'm opening the package. I'm doing my tahina. I'm doing the olive oil. I'm doing the parsley. How do I give the moment that I'm buying from supermarket in a restaurant feeling? You know, it's the same product. The hummus is the same product that we have in every restaurant. But exactly, can be sexy in the restaurant. Also, the social moment. You are talking, you are sharing. In home, either you are sharing with friends, then I'm showing you, take it out from the packaging, put it in the plate, how to use it. You have a hummus, take mushrooms on top, take meat. I'm showing them what to do with the product. And then it's become sexy, because the family is cooking for you and you are doing it at home. This is what we have done, especially in Corona time. When we lived together, the boys, they came to us, the girls came to us. We made a cookbook, we made films. And in this moment, we thought we have to show our clients, our people who like NENI, how are we function. And that's why Instagram and TikTok and everything, it's very important for NENI, because we are showing ourselves how do we live and how do we share. It's not just blah, blah. We're showing it. And this was the best thing that we could do. We had a lot of feedbacks of this.
Another way to do the retail and to load it with all the energy. When we hear you talking, we're now 21 minutes in there. You're like full of fire and energy and you kind of really like you thrive on that. And always when we talk to these high emotional people, there always comes the question like, how do you take care of yourself and how do you recharge? Because that's you, but it also costs a lot of energy to give a lot of energy. How do you take care of yourself? Because what we learned in all the interviews here, especially in crisis, you always get the strong advice that in crisis, and especially in crisis and difficult times, you always need to take care of yourself most to be able to survive. So how you regain energy, and what do you do to come in the calm moments? Is there a calm, Haya?
For sure. First of all, you need a balance in the life. You need the balance in food. Without a balance, you don't have a good food. Exactly in life. I just came 2 days ago from Italy. I was 1 month on road trip. I'm writing a new cookbook, Food People Stories, like Wien, NENI by Wien, Tel Aviv by NENI, and now Italy by Wien, Mediterranean food Italy. And we drive with two of our best friends. Nuriel was making the photos, and I was going like in a dream, to cook with other fantastic chefs, to have a producer that you are talking with them. You are seeing how they are making the cheese, the olive oil, all the fantastic. This is for me like to make yoga. But this was like not a work that I'm like a workaholic. It was like a pleasure to work with a pleasure. And when I'm feeling it's too much for me, then I'm doing Ayurveda in India. We have been 2 months ago with the whole family, yoga, meditation, Ayurveda. So just nothing, to do nothing. This is the most important. I'm working a lot, but I'm taking also my time. For example, I'm trying in the evening to go home, to relax, to be with Sami, to be with good friends, to have good talks, not about gastronomy, other things, reading, all these things I'm taking for myself. And that's why I will never be a workaholic. And I'm not a workaholic. I love what I'm doing, but I love also to do nothing.
We can see that. I'm, by the way, calling in from Sri Lanka. We moved 1 year to Sri Lanka, Haya, and
really
the center of Ayurveda. So if you still consider, you can visit me here. I want.
You have an Ayurveda resort, or what do you?
No. I'm just traveling here and moved here for 1 year because I'm joining my wife on a spiritual journey, and we do a lot of yoga and Ayurveda. But I will share that with you afterwards. I want to come to another topic, and there was a strong quote from a very good guest from our podcast, Rainer Becker, the founder of Rocca and Suma, a chef. And he said, if you want to be successful in our industry, in the hospitality industry, you need to kill your ego. You need to be able to kill your ego and to build a strong team. And you build that with all your sons. But can you share your philosophy in terms of management and how to pick the right people and how to give them trust and how to keep them grow and how to put yourself back? Because on the one hand, you're on the cover of your books and you're obviously a big asset of the brand. It's you. So on the one hand, you need to sell yourself because you're the brand. On the other hand, you have to put yourself in the second or third row because otherwise you need to do everything by yourself. So how do you handle that conflict that on the one hand, everybody wants Haya and you need to be in the TV and on the book, etc. And on the other hand, you need to give that room and kill your ego to let your dream and also your sons thrive. So how you handle that?
I think it's also a kind of character, trust. Trust is a word that you need. If you have a big company, you have to trust the people who are working with you. Of course, you are teaching, you are giving the philosophy, you are putting a lot of energy in the beginning to build up a group that we are working with them. We have today a lot of people who are working with us. And I'm giving my chefs the full trust. I'm not a control freak. If you don't give a trust to somebody, if you have too much ego, you are the biggest, you are the best, you will never you will never giving from the other side everything what they can do. There will be like a papagay who are doing the thing that you are saying. I want people who are thinking with me. And this is our philosophy also in the production. We have a Betriebsleiter. Also one of my sons could be a Betriebsleiter, but we have such good people. They know much better than us. You have to know where I'm good in and where I'm not so good in. I can't do everything. And to give the people the possibility to grow up with us, this is a good company. And this is what we are really doing. We are building people up. We are inviting them to Israel to see our country. We are speaking about our philosophy. We are doing brunch together. We are doing so many things. We are communicating with them. We know their family. We know when a baby is born. Not just giving a work. Who is the people who you are working with? And today I can say we are a big family. Also, if you are going to the franchising, the people who are working for us, they are coming to Vienna. They are working with us. We are going to them. We are speaking with them. We are doing also controlling. Of course, quality is control, but we are sending our team to build up the other teams. This is the way that NENI is working. And when I'm in Vienna, I'm every day in one of our restaurants, and I'm flying to Zurich, I'm flying to the restaurant, I'm flying to Copenhagen, all over. We are there for the people. And then we are talking a lot. Communication.
Haya, there's one thing that actually sticks in my mind for the last 10 minutes, because you said you don't make a decision if it feels 100% right, important decisions.
Yes.
We had Clive Schley in the beginning of this podcast with us, and he said there are moments in crisis or in doubt when you have to make a decision and you don't know how. And then he said, take a democratic decision. 51% is also a majority. Would you subscribe to that? Would you also take a decision if it doesn't feel 100% right? Or where do you have the confidence that it is always the right decision you are taking?
Because we are 4 people and it can be democratic 50-50, 51-49. We decided if one of us don't feel good, we are not doing it.
Okay.
We are trusting the person who is not willing to do things. So we are not democratic in our family. We are very democratic. We are listening to everybody's heart. And we had a lot of time that 3 of us wanted to do something and 1 not, and we decided not to do it because maybe it's not the right moment. Maybe in 1 year, maybe in 2 years.
Okay.
I'm not in this position that I can see 51 wants. We are not doing it.
Okay. No, it's very interesting because you're of course a different person and a different mentality and character than he is, but we spoke about that a lot. Another thing I would like to ask you right now, and we ask the question basically in every episode, is there anything that keeps you up at night?
That I'm not sleeping well, or what do you think?
Yeah, so is there a major problem that actually that you ventilate right now where you say, okay, this is something that bothers me? It's not necessarily business, it can also be around the world.
In the moment, if you say right in the moment, I'm an Israeli. Right. I'm from Tel Aviv. I have my whole family in Israel. I'm not sleeping good. I'm not sleeping at all good in the last couple of months because of situation of Israel now and Gaza and all this. And what makes me thinking a lot in the last few months, it's the anti-Semitism, what's happening now. This is what I'm now fighting. I'm doing in podcasts, I'm doing in television. This is something that bothered me a lot because I have a grandchild, I have people, they're Jewish, they're afraid to go to university, and so on and so on. And this is what makes me sleepless nights.
Yeah. I think we are
I'm speaking a lot about this also.
Yeah, we are in an industry where actually all this intercultural, interracial, ethnical stuff doesn't really matter at the end, because also in your business, you have people from all around the world, from all religions, from all orientations. You can actually, I think we should stand up more and really show the world how it is possible to live together in peace. And I think you, with NENI, you are doing a good example in that.
Yeah, because, we have really the whole world in our kitchen. We have Palestine, we have Afghanistan, we have German, we have from Australia, we have the world. Our kitchen is also the world kitchen. I grew up in a country where every language was right and left. I grew up with Yemen, with Morocco, with French, with everybody. This was my friendship. This was my education, to be open. And what's happened now, it's not understandable because people don't know what they are talking about, They don't have the information. And what we should do, and we are doing it, we are talking, we are giving information. There are a couple of fantastic people in Berlin. I'm friends with them. We are speaking a lot. They are going to schools. They are doing information. Europe and the world, and they don't have enough information, and they are just talking without knowing what they are talking. And they are doing a lot of, sleepless nights for everybody now. For everybody. It's a hard time for us.
how you shared now, like basically from the early beginning, your career till now. And if you now would try to face back or travel back in time, and you travel into this heart and mind of the Haya 2.0 version, so the 20-year-old Haya, and this Haya would now look at the current version of the updated version of Haya, what would this young version of yourself think about you?
I would love to, maybe you can translate this word in English, Bewusstsein.
Consciousness.
How do you say it?
Yeah.
Consciousness.
I will tell the young Haya, go more conscious in life. What I'm seeing now, it's not what I thought when I was 20. But you cannot tell it nobody, you know. Everybody is doing their own way. But for me, like Haya, now when I'm talking with somebody, I will 100% listen. I'm not focusing with my thing when I was 20. And I will tell Haya, wow, this will be amazing when you are young and you have the same Bewusstsein that you have today. I'm going much more bewusst in life than before. And I love it.
100% listen was also a very good keyword you gave us, because what we learned in all of these interviews, and we're trying on the one hand to recognize each other's personality, and everybody has a different journey. But we are now interviewed like 30 or so in our podcast, and there's always a red line on how to handle crisis. And one very big advice in all of these interviews was listen. If you have a crisis, listen. What caused it? Listen, learn, and adopt. Yeah, and that was a very strong theme which came through. And now you even took it one level up and said this is a skill set which I would send back to my younger version. Say adopt that earlier. Be bewusst, be cautious, and listen. So I leave it now to Florian to wrap up with our signature question, so to say. Florian.
Haya, our last question for you, and we ask this question everybody basically who is on the podcast. You are, first of all, a mother of 4 sons. You are a family person per se, but you're also a very experienced businesswoman. And there must be young entrepreneurs and others who actually ask you for advice. What kind of advice would you give a young person who struggles right now, who has roadblocks, who doesn't know what to do? What is your advice?
You know, I spoke yesterday with somebody who is doing a job, selling some things, and on the other hand, he is a great cook. He didn't learn to be a cook, but his heart is in this field. What he's doing, he's not happy. So first of all, I will advise, look exactly where are your passion. It's passion is a word, but what do you really want? What I had the crisis and I asked Sami, what should I do? And the first sentence was, what do you love to do? This is what we have to ask ourselves. If not, you are working in something that you are not happy with. It's coming so many other things, illness, not happiness. You can't be yourself. Think about what is really your goal. It doesn't have to be too intellectual. It has to be with yourself. This is the first idea will everybody ask. And if you started in the university to learn something and you know after 1, 2, or even 1 year, this is not for me, don't make it longer. Change. If you are not happy with your marriage, divorce. Don't stick in things that you think this is good, that the people think this might be good for me. This is what I will tell everybody.
Yeah, I have one more question because it's such a nice conversation we are having.
It always comes with one more question.
There's one more question, but maybe it's a crazy question. But balagan, this sympathetic chaos, is that something that you can learn? Is that something that you can adopt? Because I think this is also something that actually carries you and your family so successful through life, not overthinking too much, but also let chaos happen in a way and allow that to happen.
You know something, I can say you one word. Don't take you too serious. Humor, love yourself. Don't take yourself too serious. Because if you love yourself, you have humor, you can make mistakes, and and this is a balagan. Balagan is not planning. To plan, you need your ratio. Balagan, it's not ratio, it's emotional. And we are emotional people, and that's why we can allow ourselves not to be perfect. And this is a kind of balagan.
All right, Mario.
Oh, wow.
So much energy again.
Wow. Yeah, so much energy again. And I think the first learning which I have from her is basically the summary of her character. Communication is key. I mean, she can definitely communicate, and she can transport her passion basically from Vienna to Hamburg to you, to Sri Lanka to me, and to everybody who's listening out there. Right. You can feel her passion, but communication is key. Yeah. Was my big first learning.
Absolutely. You have to talk about the problems you are having in business, and you have to really talk them through. That's really the big first learning. Second one, and this is basically quite the opposite, and it was kind of expectable when you know the business she is running with her family, because she said, for sure, family first.
Yes, but she also said it needs the discipline to put the family first, because she shared one of the sons is not in the business. Her husband is not in the business. Right. And she said we owe it to them to have family holidays and brunch where we don't talk about business. But it really felt like that she's creating that safe space. And then she also said, on the one hand, I'm a mother and I want to be a mother to my sons. On the other hand, I'm partnering with men and not with my sons.
Right.
And she needs to feel and make this differentiation. It was very interesting. So family first, but a lot of nuances below on how to achieve that. And I think sometimes it's very good to have these family members who are not part of that business, because when we ask her about the crisis, she shared like the big crisis she had in life before and not getting pregnant, etc. But then when the last son was finally growing up and had it was 12 years old, then she's asked her husband, what should I do? And his reflection was, where is your passion?
Right.
What's your passion? And then she said, my passion is cooking, etc. And then it starts. But ask yourself, what's the passion?
In that context, it was because it was the topic you were asking about her fears. And she said, or Schwellenangst, and she actually said, I had the fear before it started.
Yes.
And when she had that crisis in life, and actually not when she made the decision to do it, then actually there was no real Schwellenangst in that.
Die Schwelle before the Schwelle.
Yeah. Risk taking is in my education, she said.
Yeah. I take a lot of risk, and she's not just like this extreme sport which you challenged her, but she's definitely a risk taker. But also, I think she only takes the risk, and it was the next topic is like if she feels it. Because when we talked about the big mistake, and she said the biggest mistake was this opening of the second restaurant, which was too early, and it was the wrong location. We actually should have known it because we felt it. Right. She said, and then we made this core rule, we need to feel it 100%. And then she said 99%, when we now ask for something, new location, new partner, new product, we say no. We don't do something if we don't feel it. And then later on, we had this democratic decision thing where you quoted Clive, and she said we have 4 partners, the 3 sons and her, and if one of us doesn't feel like it, we don't do it. So everybody has a veto. So I think they really learned very, very strong from that first big mistake. And only if they feel it, they go into the partnerships, and then they make the decisions.
It has a very interesting subcontext, because if you make decisions that way anonymously, and you actually want to feel it, that it is right and that it is 100% right, I believe then you are right. Then it is absolutely right, and then you avoid mistakes in that way.
Yeah.
We were talking with her also about how she balanced out her life, because she's so full of energy, and it was quite interesting that she shared with us that she is also doing absolutely nothing sometimes. Just do nothing. Take breaks, relax, do something which has nothing to do with your business. So again, here how it shows us again how important it is to actually look out for yourself as well.
And then we talked about trust and family, and obviously she has a strong family and she has this extended family. And she said we run the whole NENI like a big family, and we do brunch together. And what I do, she says, I give the trust to the people, because there is people out there who can know it much, much better. And you can really feel that she's thriving on this, giving trust to the sons, giving trust to the company. So giving trust and running the whole NENI as a big family, you could feel that. And talking about this family, she said, we have the whole world
in our kitchen.
When we talked about, you challenged her and you added to her up at night about all these conflicts in the world, especially about the conflict in Israel. And you said our industry is so like the opposite, because everybody works there. And then it's a beautiful quote. We have the whole world in our kitchen.
I will remember that quote for a long time from now. And I really feel sorry about the people down there. And it must be hard for her and her family to see what's going on there when you're at the same time giving a good example how living and working together actually can look like. Advices for entrepreneurs. Last topic we asked her. She came back to the passion again. Look, what is your passion? Do only what you love. Don't stick with things that don't feel right.
And also 100% listen. Yeah? I think that was like, I think a little bit before when we said, like, looking back, what would you advise? And she said this, I didn't have this ability to really listen. And I think it was a strong learning to listen, learn and adapt as we had that. So as you, Mr. Colombo, Florian, the last one is for you. Last learning. What from today?
It's just Colombo is so funny because Colombo is on Sri Lanka, right?
It's the capital.
It's
very close. Yeah.
So you should be Mr. Colombo. But anyways, no. But last thing for me, and it was also the last question I raised, is this. I really admire this balagan attitude. It is something I think which everybody should have a little bit of chaos, but sympathetic chaos. I think that can help everybody in every situation quite a lot. So today
100%
balagan,
100%, and don't think too much. Don't overthink it. And actually, we also had that with other words, not with this craziness, but we had like, don't overthink, where Julian said, yeah. And also like, love yourself, stay with yourself, and believe in yourself, and then just do it. Don't overthink it. Let the sympathetic chaos, the balagan, take over. And I think that's a beautiful end. What an amazing guest, what an amazing content and learnings. That was fun.
Absolutely.
Lauren.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. We hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as we did. But sharing is not just caring. It is also empowering. So recommend this podcast to fellow entrepreneurs who might need a dose of inspiration. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss out on future episodes. Thank you for being part of the community from Doubt to Drive Entrepreneurs Only. Mario and Florian are already gearing up for the next episode. Until then, stay tuned, stay driven, and we'll be back next week.